Mike Tomlin is out of Pittsburgh. It's official, and this is great news for the Cleveland Browns. I've actually got 3 pieces of great news for Cleveland and why this is so good. We're going to talk about that on today's show. I am your host, Joey O'Donohue, and like I said, this is great for your Brownies. Let's dive into the Mike Tomlin news and how this affects Cleveland. Perhaps he's a candidate for the Browns now as they have a head coach opening. We're talking all of it. But I want your opinions before we dive into mine. Give your one-word reaction when you heard Mike Tomlin got fired. Your first thought, just comment a word. Down below in the comments section, your immediate reaction to this blockbuster breaking news, folks. Can you believe Harbaugh and Tomlin are both out of the Ravens and Steelers organizations now, folks? Things are opening up. I also want to highlight, okay, this morning on the show, did I or did I not call this? This is why you subscribe. Here's me literally saying I think it's likely that Tomlin steps away rather than getting fired. Go back and watch it. It's this morning. Look at me. Same shirt. It's me, okay? I called it. Hit the sub button. That's why you subscribe, because I've got the hottest rumors for you with all the ESPN sources, all the insiders that we talk to. So hit that sub button. I got you guys covered every day with updates on your Cleveland Browns. Here's the good news, Browns fans, okay? The Steelers are falling apart. Finally, we can revel in this. They have lost their head coach of 19 years, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he's returning either. They lose their quarterback, they lose their head coach, and they get blown out in the playoffs. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, they might be thinking rebuild mode over there offense-wise. And now, look at all the head coach openings in the National Football League. I mean, it's more than 1/4 of the league, nearly 1/3 of the league, with 9 head coach openings. The Steelers make 9 on that list. And so, everyone's in the search, okay? Now, with Tomlin being a candidate, I think he's going to rise up a lot of people's lists, including the Cleveland Browns. He is now a head coach target for Cleveland, but it's not an ordinary situation. Okay, this is no ordinary scenario. I'm going to outline what's different about Tomlin is that he's not just straight up a head coach candidate for everybody. Jordan Schultz outlines it like this on Twitter. Mike Tomlin was not fired. He's voluntarily leaving the organization, so the Steelers will retain his rights. He would be in ultra-high demand should he still want to coach. Even if he takes a year off, translation, this is a scenario in which Pittsburgh could trade him down the road. Somewhat of like what happened to Sean Payton, and that kind of worked out well for Denver. Did it or did it not? So he's actually a trade candidate. The Steelers have his rights still because he was under contract, and he's leaving the organization. So think about it from Cleveland's perspective. Is he worth trading for? Now I'm a little more out on this. All right, I already didn't know. I mean, it's hard to argue, not to go after Mike Tomlin, right? He's never had a losing season. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them. He's better than Kevin Stefanski, I'll tell you that for sure, right? So it would be an upgrade. There's no doubt about that. But now you're telling me we got to give a little bit more. There's not as much incentive to go after Mike Tomlin, who's been their coach since 2007. And Ian Rappaport says it's not just some incentive. Says that Pittsburgh would get significant draft compensation in a trade for Mike Tomlin. I like Harbaugh as a candidate better than Tomlin. I think you look at both the AFC North candidates that has freed up. But it is hard for me to sit up here and say that Mike Tomlin should not be the top of most people's lists. So if you're telling me this, I think realistically, you can get Tomlin for something like a 4th-round pick. Here's the trade offer we've got mocked up for you on the show. And honestly, I mean, out of respect for Mike Tomlin, he wants to leave. Like, the organization shouldn't be holding him hostage. If a team wants to trade for him and doesn't want to give up too much, and this is the best offer you get is a 4th-round pick, they should let him walk. They should let him go, all right? So I do think it would be relatively easy to trade for Tomlin. I wouldn't overblow that out of proportion what Rappaport's telling us. But you have to factor in you're giving up a draft pick to get him. Is he worth it? You tell me in the comment section. Would you accept this trade for Mike Tomlin to be the Browns head coach? A 4th-rounder in return. Type Y for yes. Type N for no in the comment section. I've been seeing a lot of comments that don't want to bring Tomlin to Cleveland. But you can't really argue the fact that he's never had a losing season. So you comment down below what you think. The other part of this equation, I think it's very unlikely that this is a possibility at all. Honestly, there's like 90% chance that he goes to Cleveland. There's no way he would do this. I mean, he wants the year off from the AFC North, from all the tough battles, right? Everything that he's endured. Now he's going to take on the Cleveland Browns as a project to try to compete in that division again. I do think he's a competitive guy, right? If you're a top head coach, you have that twitch, that itch to be out there fighting for something in the National Football League. But Adam Schefter just told us recently it's more likely than not that Tomlin will not coach next year. In fact, he'll probably do TV. And those are the latest rumors. I'll keep you updated on if he is still a Cleveland Browns candidate or not. The other report I got is that Tomlin wants to be in warm weather. Okay, for real. From Josina Anderson. He's done with the cold. So now you look at the openings I told you, and, well, Miami, the Dolphins become the candidate, the place that he might actually go. Arizona, I suppose. Who wants to go there? I'm just saying, it's very unlikely that the Browns would be a place that he would go. And now you have to get Pittsburgh to send him to you. All right? It's very unlikely. The Harbaugh's a lot better because he's free to go wherever he wants. And he grew up a Browns fan, let me tell you that. Another reason this is great, though, for Cleveland, AFC North wide open. Once again. I felt it was pretty open this year. To be honest with you, Browns fans, I was frustrated we didn't compete this year. I felt Cleveland had a real shot early in the season. First 5 weeks in, I really thought, hey, this is possible. We beat the Packers, and I was crushed we didn't contend this year with the defense that we had. I really felt there was no excuses, and that's why I was such a big proponent of fire Kevin Stefanski and try to fast-track this rebuild on offense because your defense is set. And without Harbaugh coaching, without Tomlin coaching in this division, it's wide open again. Heck, how in the damn hell is Zac Taylor the only AFC North coach to survive this year? He's the worst one. He was the worst one in the division. Stefanski, as much as I get on him, he probably deserves a job more than Taylor. Stefanski gets fired. Harbaugh gets fired. Tomlin takes matters into his own hands, said, I'm leaving. Zac Taylor is sitting pretty over there after another losing season in Cincinnati. Like I said, I still think John Harbaugh is your number one candidate. He's my favorite in this pool. He should be everybody's. There's a reason his phone blew up when he got fired, okay? As if to say the Ravens just let a gem leave. He's the number one candidate for everybody. And I have a promising update for you guys, Browns fans, from Adam Schefter. Check this out. While the Falcons announced an official interview with Ravens head coach John Harbaugh, he already has been conducting preliminary and extensive phone calls here with the Giants, Titans, Browns, Raiders, and Cardinals per sources. He is trying to determine who to meet with later this week and into next week before making a decision. He is fully expected to coach in 2026 per sources, ladies and gentlemen. So unlike Tomlin, where there's more rumors that he will step away for a year from football, Harbaugh is hungry. He wants to coach. He's looking for who to interview with, and he's called the Browns. They had a long talk, per Adam Schefter. So we should know relatively soon if Cleveland gets an interview with John Harbaugh. I will update you immediately if we get that news and how the interview goes. So make sure you are subscribed. But while we're on the subject of both these former AFC North coaches now, if you had to pick one to be Cleveland's next head coach, who would you pick? Mike Tomlin, type MT. John Harbaugh, type JH. Comment down below what you think, who you'd go for. Let me know, and I am excited to see where the Browns fans are at. Coming up on the show, we have the latest interview tracker for Cleveland. I've got all the names that they are actually going to interview. I've requested to interview, so stay tuned for that. But first, let's tell you about this awesome deal we got going on here at Chat Sports. And you can get this Myles Garrett record-breaking t-shirt for only $34.99, folks. Look how sick it is. Captured the moment with the date on it for Big 95. I mean, it was a moment in history that we witnessed as fans. We didn't get a whole lot of life this season, but this is something to remember, to tell your kids about, your grandkids about in the future. You can get a t-shirt to commemorate it at chatsports.com/MGRecord. I'm going to put the link in the comment section, in the description. Easy to remember. MG or Myles Garrett's initials. Chatsports.com/MGRecord. Only $35. Get one for you. Gift it to a Browns fan as well. If you want to get multiple, it's only $34.99. Chatsports.com/MGRecord. Here's the official list. Updated with the interview requests for Cleveland. All right, check mark means they've interviewed them already. Jim Schwartz and Tommy Rees, the first two. Promote from within, perhaps. Bengals offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher, believe it or not. Seahawks DC Aiden Dirty, we've talked about him. Speaking of Ravens and former Ravens, Todd Monken did interview with the Cleveland Browns for their head coach job. And Mike McDaniel, another guy with head coach experience, another offensive mind, right? He's interviewed with Cleveland, and then Cleveland has requested to interview Rams pass game specialist Nate Scheelhaus, Jesse Minter, a hot defensive name on the market, Jaguars offensive coordinator Grant Udinski, and as I told you, and that's been confirmed by Schefter, they have called John Harbaugh. But one I haven't got to talk to you guys a lot about on the show yet is Grant Udinski. He is a candidate that is rising, surging up these lists, right? He's the current offensive coordinator for the Jaguars. Before that, he was an assistant with the Vikings and the Panthers. You want to talk young offensive mind. Is that not what I say I want? Well, he's only 30 years old. And look at Trevor Lawrence's resurgence this year with Udinski as the OC. Also, a lot of credit to Liam Cohen. But my point is, a lot of these first-year coaches are having success. Now, he's never called plays before. So that is something to consider. And because he's so young, well, perhaps I would want to go with someone, if you're going to get me a guy that hasn't called plays, I would prefer someone like Mike LaFleur, the Rams offensive coordinator, because at least he's working under Sean McVay for multiple years in a row, right? But Cleveland has not even requested to interview LaFleur. Instead, it's the pass game specialist in L.A., which is Nate Scheelhaus. But I'm also hearing Udinski's very highly regarded in these NFL circles. He's very young, up and coming, and he's like shooting up the coaching ladder. Head coach would be a huge jump for him, right? Huge promotion, I should say, in such a short amount of time. Just became an OC. All of a sudden, he'd get a head coach job. But he's an intriguing candidate, and I could see, in a couple years, he's an even hotter name, and Cleveland has the early jump on Grant Udinski. So I'll keep you posted how his interview progresses. If he gets another one with Cleveland, stay tuned. My take, though, on all this head coaching news, drama, the search, I think most likely, because nothing's figured out in Cleveland yet, right? We have no inkling of which direction they're going to go. But I actually think they're going to go with an offensive candidate. Of the names that I told you, I think Tomlin, there's, like I told you, no chance. Harbaugh, maybe, but I think it's more likely he goes to the Giants, to the Falcons. Heck, even the Packers if they free up, or the Steelers now that they're open. I don't think the Browns are. I think he'll be in the running for the Browns, and Haslam could give a good pitch and a lot of money, but he's considering those other teams with quarterbacks he likes, so I'll keep you posted on that. Or Cleveland promotes from within. They go with Jim Schwartz for this year, Tommy Rees perhaps, and then we're going to have another coaching search in a year or two if that doesn't work out. I mean, how many times do you have one and done in the NFL now, like Pete Carroll? Perhaps that's what Cleveland does if they don't love the candidates in this cycle. Or maybe Mike McDaniel's a one-and-done hire. That's what I'm thinking. It's an offensive candidate, not the biggest name that's going to come to Cleveland. Plus, things are still shaking out. I mean, we might get another opening here in Green Bay. Stay tuned. Matt LaFleur, I'm hearing, is some suspicious things going on in Green Bay, according to Adam Schefter. So, I'll let you know if things develop that way. Perhaps we have to consider him as a candidate for the Cleveland Browns, because I bet he would be a hot name if he becomes available. So lots more to come. I think Cleveland's also waiting to see where John Harbaugh goes, right? Because he could be Cleveland's number one candidate, and then if he doesn't choose Cleveland, now you're at plan B. Perhaps you go to plan C, right? There's a lot of things still shaking out, but I will have you covered every step of the way, every single day. So hit that subscribe button, Browns fans. Don't miss out on the coaching news and rumors, okay, here on the Browns Report. If you're a diehard Browns fan, you're going to love it. Also, give me a follow on all social media platforms, okay? I post a lot more often on Twitter, Joey070. We're also on Instagram, Browns Report IG, and TikTok, Joey Brown. Plenty of fun content and highlights across all three of those platforms. So give me a follow, hit the sub button. I do appreciate you guys so much, and I'll have you posted here on the show with new Browns news.